like your thoughts, by the way?
They're a cross between The Wizard of Oz and Michael Jackson.
Okay. You see this? I love you.
That's
The
my
Wizard of Oz and Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
So The Wiz, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ease on down.
When I saw them, it was like, that's all I could think of. So I had to get them out of the way from here.
I like them. They're cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ready for us, Abby? Okay. Welcome to the Panda-gasm Show. I am your lovely hyper hostess, Panda. And today we have our lovely guest, Miss Doreen.
So happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here.
We've been, wanting to do this for a while.
For a while.
Yeah, we're
And now we're finally here. Doreen is a wonderful, fantastic, well, she's my boss, one of my bosses at the yoga studio, Four Corners Yoga, Fitness, and Wellness. So that's how we met, about what, almost 2 years now?
Yeah, I think we're ready to go into our third year.
Are we?
We are.
I thought it was going on to year 2.
No.
Lost track of time. So I've been
fun.
with you guys for almost 3 years now, and it's been a really great experience. Pre-COVID, I saw the school and I would always say, I'm going to teach there one day. 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 And boom, fast forward, look at I'm
we're
teaching
so
there.
excited because we kept saying, we just want someone to come and teach with us. Well, do they think we're real? Do you think we're real? It was just so exciting how it came together.
Yes, and I'm so happy to be with you guys. So do you want to talk a little bit about Four Corners Yoga Wellness?
I could talk all night about Four Corners. I feel like Four Corners saved my life during a time during COVID when I was just getting started with my journey to become a teacher. And I did it through this program called Breathe for Change, which is a really great program. It looks at trauma-informed yoga. And it looked at just, you have to look within yourself first, right? So it was a lot of that and a lot of social justice work I was doing around that time. And to find Four Corners was like finding home. It was this idea of having like-minded people that had the same feelings about what was going on. So we really dug deep, not only in the yoga, but in the whole social justice. Because what yoga is about is like when you really begin to practice it in your life, you begin to realize that we're all connected. Mm-hmm. We're all connected. So, you just live a life where you just don't want to have to do harm in any kind. And it's hard to live right now in a time when you see so many people hurting, really hurting. And it's hard to know what to do. They're untethered, and they have a lot to be hurting about.
Absolutely.
They really do. But, the good news is we had a great day last night. And maybe the hope is, I've been doing that seated meditation and hope. That's one of the things I do at Four Corners along with regular yoga is just to sit. It's a practice in resistance to the grind, resistance to white supremacy, to capitalism, that we deserve to have quiet time in our life to reflect and just be with ourselves. And capitalism has taken that away from us. It's stripped us of any sense of being worthy, of just being human.
Yeah.
And we need to that's why we do this practice. That's why we do the social justice work. Yeah.
Talk to me about the social justice work.
Oh,
I don't
gosh.
think I know that part of the yoga.
Oh, yeah. I meant to count, but we've read over 30 books in the last since 2020. We've gone to movies, we've done operas, we've read books, we've seen Stacey Abrams, we've really looked it up. We've read the book, can't think of the guy's name that wants to burn down the Constitution. And at this point, I have to agree with him. It's taken me a while, but I'm burn it all down because it's not working. And it hasn't been working for a long time, but there's a few of us that thought it was, but we all know it's not now. And that's why we have hope with Zohan Randami. He reminds me, I worked at BU in International Public Health, and he reminds me of those students that used to sit in that classroom with me that had some really good values about what's important in life, which is government taking care of people.
Yeah.
An example of that
of the government taking care of you?
Yeah, my mom was a single parent, and I was one of six, and
6?
yeah,
What number?
I was set two. Yeah,
Catholic?
say that again.
Catholic?
Catholic, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
recovering.
Ah.
But for me, you know, it's interesting because it happened to me at a very formative time where I was in the community, felt part of the community, and then my parents divorced, and it was like, you know, the little white curtains go down and the doors shut. You don't realize later, you're not sure what you did. You think you did something, but you realize it's all those women that are worried about, you know, it's contagious because if my mother could get divorced, so could they. It's kind of like COVID, right? So all of a sudden your whole life changes because where you belonged once, you no longer belong. So it was a very interesting thing for me because I think that's where I got my seeded in social justice from that experience. So that the feeling of not belonging is an extraordinarily powerful feeling.
Oh, I know.
You know, and so when that happens and you're in a position where you can make people feel like they belong, you do it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're that privileged enough to get that place in your life, right? Not a lot of people get there,
This is true.
you know.
So I have a question. You
Sure.
said, you know, then other women start to think about them
Oh, yeah.
being able to get divorced. Was that something around that time everybody was looking forward to, being married and not
I
divorced?
think that, well, it was in the 60s.
Okay.
So it was like, so that was like the worst thing that you could do.
Is it? Was
One
it
of the
that?
worst. Now, let me just say this. I'm a Boston girl, so I was born and raised in Boston. I went to Suffolk University, BU, undergrad Suffolk, BU, master's. But I lost my point, but I'll get it back in a second. That happens as you get older. I can't deny it. It was a point you had asked me.
I had asked you if around that time, was it like a thing?
It was a thing,
To
so-
not want to
so
be
you got it
divorced,
back.
and you said it was
So-
the 60s.
So I took a class, I think it was it must have been 79, philosophy teacher. And what they said is, if you were divorced, you couldn't get a loan,
Right.
right? Because if you divorce, then that means you can't.
You didn't have amendments.
Well, no, it wasn't not necessarily demand. No. Then it was the fact that they didn't believe that you could can't honor the contract of the marriage. How do we know you're going to pay the mortgage? So that's what that was all about, you know. But in the end, it was, you know, because we know that marriage is all about, you know, money and businesses coming together. You know, if you were lucky enough to fall in love, you know,
Then you did.
then you did. But for even today, there's still arranged marriages
Mm.
to this day.
We
Yeah.
talked about that on the show before, arranged marriages.
Yeah.
So, and it's so funny that, and I know this is not one of our topics, I just found it interesting because times have definitely changed. And I don't think divorce is frowned upon in today's day and age as it was probably.
Yeah, because it was just, you know, you might as well have the plague.
Right, I think a lot
Because
of,
my parents were excommunicated, so if we wanted to go to church, they couldn't go. So I have a funny story. So
Your mom and dad both were excommunicated?
they were
from the church?
excommunicated from
Oh,
the
wow.
church. Yeah.
That's progressive.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then what was more progressive is to like so I went up until I was up until my communion, and I said I didn't go back into a church until I was probably in my late 20s.
how old
But-
was communion, sorry?
Like eighth grade.
Okay.
So, but it was just the idea that they put, you know, my family in this high standard while they were doing terrible things to children.
Oh, not the Boston Catholic Church.
No.
No way.
So, you know, so that's the irony. That's why it's very hard to believe in institutions. You know what I mean? When you really think about, you know, the fact is,
I was
we've
just
been-
about to say that.
yeah, we've been peddling in flesh from the very beginning. I mean, this system was built on peddling flesh. What's changed? I mean, we got this Epstein thing that's been going on, and, you know, it's peddled in flesh. And so when you say a lot has changed, I think that's window dressing.
It's a possibility, yeah.
In a lot of ways, it's window dressing. It might, you know, they kind of like say, see this, because for years I was on that treadmill where oh, if you do this and you do that, you know, you're gonna get this, you're gonna get that. Maybe, if you're lucky, is everybody? Probably not. So you're so busy trying to go for it that you don't realize there's so many other people that are suffering, you know, on a system that you're trying to get the gold ring when they're never even gonna get a seat to get the gold ring.
Whose fault was that?
Whose fault is that? I think it's, oh gosh. I think it's a system that was deliberately put in place by a group of old white supremacists that were slave owners. And when they said we're equal, they were only talking about them.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they said, well, what about us? You know, so when they talk about DEI, DEI is the foundation of this country because it's all those amendments to bring people into that, you know, idea that we're equal, right? And what's going on now is that the closer we get to that equality, the more people, maybe that's why they're so upset.
We're gonna get to that part about why they're so upset.
Oh, but you know, like when you think about it, like if I've always said if you pull that thread, right, from the time this country started till I can't even say individual, the person that's in that, those people that are in the People's House right now, there is a thread to that. Like we had to get Donald Trump because we never finished the business. In terms of how this
Don't
country.
get me started. Let me shut up.
No, what you have to say.
You ain't know I can't.
No. I mean, I just believe that. I mean, the only reason I believe that is I deliberately started a timeline with this book that I started by Dr. Kendi on Stand From the Beginning, which looks at racism as
It's a great book.
from a construct,
Yes.
you know, from a social construct. And if you go, he builds it, you know, and it's funny, I was really up and read it all up to the 60s and I stopped. And I thought, oh man, I feel like I lived that. I'll read that soon. But all this stuff in between that was like, I didn't know that. I didn't know half of it.
I have to read that.
I grew up in a
Yeah, it's Stand From the Beginning by Ibram X. Kendi.
Yeah. And the thing is like, you know, I grew up in a town where I walked down the street by a cemetery that had slaves that were there with their masters, with their slave holders. And the streets are still named after them. Mm-hmm. The streets are still named after them.
After the slave owner?
Yeah.
You could think that changed.
You probably could.
But then we don't know because I was one of the people upset that they changed Dudley Square to Nubian Square. But then you realize Dudley was like a pro-slavery
Right.
politician.
Yeah.
So it was the mixed feelings about the change of Dudley. I get it, but it was just like that.
Yeah.
I get it.
And Nubian Square, that has to be significant. I don't
Because
know.
it's a black community.
And so in some ways, change is hard. Change is hard.
But change is also necessary. And I wanted to go back to what you were saying that you don't know if too much change has been made. I feel like as far as divorce being frowned upon, compared to 2025, compared to the 60s, I don't think it's as frowned upon now. I think a lot of women are like divorcing.
Yeah, no.
Don't get married.
Yeah, no.
Don't do it.
No. We were victims and witnesses to domestic violence before those terms were even used. So no, I don't believe in staying with anyone that is doing that sort of stuff. No, marriage is like race is a social construct. Marriage is a financial construct. Right? And mostly to keep women in their place.
In their place. And this was another thing I wanted to say too, because, you know, you mentioned about the Constitution and how all these things were made by white men, and it was only them thinking about themselves pretty much. Nobody else was included. That includes vows. Do you listen to what the vows say? A man wrote those. Men wrote that.
Well, for a long time it was, I think that, and now I pronounce you, I think it was not husband and wife, but it was like something else, and like, I can't remember what it was now. Husband and wife, or, well, now they're talking about having one vote family. They're going back to that.
One vote?
Yeah, Charlie Kirk, his whole thing was that there'd be one vote per family, and it would be the man's vote.
So then if there's no man in the
Damn right.
If there's no man in the house, then what?
I guess they pass over you. I mean, I don't know. I'm joking.
This is crazy.
You know what's funny? Yesterday we went to vote, and we went to, me and my wife and my daughter, we went to vote yesterday.
Oh, that's great. You're bringing her.
We're talking about, like, we live in Brockton. We talk about the mayoral race. There was 2 people running, so I chose my guy, and then Amanda knows my wife. She's like, I'm gonna choose the other one. It's like, oh, you're gonna cancel out my vote?
I love the competition between you two.
So I just thought that was funny based on
That is funny.
That's hilarious.
But it's good that you start young, that you bring them there and get them to understand, because I think a lot, like 74 million people, 74 million people stayed home and didn't vote.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think that has a lot to do with so many things, but it started with getting rid of civics in classrooms and really making us to understand how government works.
It's a scam.
You know, well, I think is part of the system a scam, yeah, but the 3, I have to say that we're not the best, or we weren't the best government, but we were a government that at one time believed in checks and balances. You know, that really had like 3 co-equals of branches of government, but none of them were working right now. And we're seeing what happens. I mean, yeah, it's corrupt, but it's when you have a lawless president, that when you have judges coming in and basically saying, there's one thing about the court of opinion, but now you're going into a court of law. I don't know about you, but I've been in the court of law, and it's not like public opinion. It's supposed to be serious, particularly when you go into a federal court. Mm-hmm. He's made a mockery
of course.
A mockery, and now he's sitting in this house still breaking the law. Still breaking the law. Yep. And so it really kind of proves that, my whole point, like,
from the beginning of time, white men have been angry.
Well, no, not much has changed here.
Oh.
Both.
I was kind of hoping, like, to be honest with you, at least the second time, I was hoping, because I'm an institutionalist. I'm probably like a little bit opposite of you, but not really. Like, I wish our political map was like people like me and people like you, and we discussed and debated and argued. But it's like you, me, and like really crazy people, right? I'm talking about the MAGAs.
Okay.
Yeah.
But me, like, I believe, like, Tommy, I'm going to say naive, but I'm an institutionalist. I believe in, like, a liberal democracy. What that means is that I think that, like, the system that we have set up can do well if controlled by people of well-intentions, moral people that understand that, like, the government is here to help people. Like,
I have to say that, I used to really believe that. And I think that for me, like, watching what happened with Dr. Fauci and the end of public health, and this idea that, the reason that COVID happened was because we had that perfect storm of not believing in anybody, not trusting our government, not having faith in science, not believing in public health. And those are 3 things you need to prevent one of those things.
Well, those are cornerstones. Those are those big cornerstones of, like, what makes a country, like, believe, like, having trust in your institutions. And I was like, and like, there was almost like a perverse, like, glee that, like, with Trump in office and being as bad as he is, people would see and be like, yo, okay, this is what it really looks like when it's bad. Let's try to reel it back and get some people in. But I think in a lot of ways, I think it's making, yesterday was a good sign. I think a lot of good things happened yesterday as far as the election. But I feel like a lot of people are becoming more cynical about government, which is understandable because we got clowns in the clown house right now. So.
But I guess what I would say to that, I don't disagree with any of that. I would say, though, do we really want to go back when we had an opportunity to go forward? Like, I don't want to go back. If we're one of the richest countries in the world, we should have healthcare for all.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to go back. We're the richest country in the world. We should have free public transportation.
Yeah. I'm a universal basic income guy, so I'm with you.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't think we're far apart. And what I would love to see happen is have more unity circles after we can figure out the anger.
Yeah.
And pull some threads of unity and create a new quilt.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, the Supreme Court's not working. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it here, and I may be wrong because I've been wrong about a lot of things. But I'm dying for those Epstein files to come out because I think it's going to rock this country in a way that we've never been rocked before when we see the people that these institutionalists, these people that we've held to high standards, are peddling. What did we talk about in the beginning? How was this country started?
Flesh.
Peddling on flesh. And until we really look at ourselves, it's funny because four corners of doing this yoga and doing the mindfulness, I've come to have some compassion, for like, how bad can you be as a human being to be doing what's going on in this country? Like, how bad can we be to have allowed it to go on as long as we've had? Because we've been doing it from the beginning of time.
Okay, now when we say we, who's the we? It's well, we got to be specific.
Okay, so the we is people. There were 5 or 6 guys that were taken out of Austin car wash today. What are we doing about it?
You're talking about ICE?
Yeah, I'm just talking about we as in individuals because nobody is going to come save us. And when I say us, I mean us, right? Like, we've got to figure out that, the bad guys are in the good houses and they're burning them down. And there's there's no Disney. Don't get me started with that company. But there's no Disney that's going to come in with the knight in shining armor or the Black Panther or the White Knight, call them whatever you want to call them. Who's coming to save us?
Four corners yoga.
Yo,
that's right. With healing
Four
circles.
corners yoga.
Healing circles.
And the reason why I asked
Healing circles.
for the clarity on
we?
who's the we is because we trying. We need the help.
No, I get that.
We the black people are trying, and this is why I was like,
the vast majority, if you're gonna blame, and I'm with you on this, Panda, if you're gonna look for like who caused this, I wouldn't say blame, but who caused this, the vast majority of black people, especially black women, and if you're like us and you think that like Trump is a symptom of what's going on, the vast majority of black people, especially black women, voted for the other person, and they constantly do that. I think black people are constantly, when we vote, I think we constantly vote for a system that's equitable and that helps people. But when you look at white women aren't as typical of this, but especially white men who outnumber us by a large margin. There's nothing we can do. Our vote, we're a large base. We're very influential in the Democratic Party, but a whole large segment of people vote against what I think is their own interest. So
there's no question.
Yeah.
There's no question.
That makes sense?
Oh, absolutely. It does. I think it goes back to, history will show that, women that look like me have let women that look like her down for the upteenth time ever. Even during the right to vote. We could have won it that way, but we didn't do it. Think of all the times that we could have been there and weren't, and collectively and I don't know. I don't know what that is. But you would think that it would have changed by now, and it still hasn't changed. But I'll tell you, I read a great book called the Love Songs by W.E. Du Bois. Can't think of the name of, but this is the first black intellectual in the United States, and it's his family's, and it's also the story of the Allen Ailey family. But what they talk about is during the time of slavery, those slave masters not only raped the women, black women, but and their children. They raped their own children, and the white women did nothing about it.
Yeah, they just did it.
They did nothing about it. So I sometimes think, oh, is that where that ethos comes from? Very much like, when they came into Texas and said, slavery, Juneteenth, slavery has been over for 2 years, what are you doing here? And then they put the thing on the door and they say, but if you want to stay, you get paid now. And I'm thinking, oh my God, that must be where stay with the abuser came from. Like, where did all these things come from that it makes it okay to turn our head to when we're watching atrocities in our own families? Where does that come from?
Where?
Jeez.
Where?
No, that's a lot.
That's a lot. And so when you think about, and the other thing is, let's go back to the yoga piece of we're being all connected and stay with the, our history. We're related. Because these slaves, they were everybody. So now you are now, over your brothers, your half brothers and sisters and cousins, and you're all related.
So wait, y'all have that going on in the white community too?
What I'm saying is that when you had slaveholders and they were sleeping with the slaves and sleeping with their wives, those kids were all related because they had the same father.
But I'm just saying, like future, present day now, does that still happen?
Well, I don't know, but like I said, it's changed, so I don't know.
Well, if you said not a lot has changed, then it must be still the same.
I don't know, but I'm just saying that these things don't come from, they don't just come out of
nowhere. Right.
They start somewhere, right?
Right, it does start somewhere. And this is our perfect segue into the next topic, onto why are the white men so angry? And this could be from like
generational.
Yeah, it's generational. So
Resma Manek, I can never say his name. Resma Manek, I think his name is My Grandmother's Hands. He writes a book about how Black grandmothers would whip the kids to try to protect them. Not to whip them because they, you got to be careful because when you go out, you can't be this way, you can't be that way. So they pass this, this beating down, and it stays in the body, and you kind of continue to pass it down. But what it was love out of fear that something was going to happen to them when they go out into the world.
Right, the culture.
So there's a lot so if that's going on in all our bodies, right? And, I think there was a lot of abuse in families, and it was accepted. It's like you never thought about it, I think in my generation, we were probably the generation that I remember saying, you lay a hand, like I do with all, and that's my personal boundary. I don't care who you are, you don't have the right to put your hand on anybody unless they ask you. And that's only because when you've experienced it, you have two things. You either become one of those sharks, or you become a lover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's really no in between.
There's no in between.
Yeah, you either are what you come what you're used to, or you become the complete opposite.
It was just that saying, you do what you know unless you learn something different. Yeah. So you're gonna go right to that thing that you had as a kid. And if that didn't work for you, and you're still doing it to yours, and you're just passing it on.
Passing it on the generation.
Yeah.
And that's what we were kind of talking about too. You were saying like the white men are angry, and Poppy was saying, well, the black men are angry too. And I'm sitting here like, yeah, why is everybody so angry? Like what's
and they get allowed to be angry where don't you get angry.
Ooh.
You black women can't get angry.
Oh no, we can't get angry.
We can't get angry.
Because as soon as we do, we're the angry black woman. She's a bitch. She's this. She's that. And we had this conversation before on the Lawrence podcast, and I stated like when you have any type of aggression in you, that's the only time you get the respect, because you have to not present yourself in the masculine energy. You can't remain cute, dainty, and feminine and being like, hey, but then when you present yourself that way, it's like, oh, look at this bitch.
I know.
She thinks she's with shit. It's like, damn, I came in here being all nice to y'all, trying to be all feminine and cute, and y'all just didn't listen. It went in one ear, out the other. Now I come in here with the big dick energy, and everybody's mad.
I know, huh?
Everybody's mad. We didn't even have to get here. Had you just let me go and be like, hey, how you doing, honey? Now I gotta come in with my fangs and I'm the angry black woman. But when I was coming in here smiling, sweet and dandy, you didn't like that. You didn't like it.
I have a theory.
What happened?
About why men are angry.
What's your theory?
Let's hear it.
Think about this. So like, I feel like, and I'm applying my theory on black men and making it universal. Mm-hmm. Is that women in general are getting more educated, right? They're surpassing men in the workplace, right? They're making more money than men now. And when you listen to some men who still look at the world as if women are supposed to be subservient to them, and they can't get that situation going for themselves, they end up blaming everybody else except themselves. And I'm like, I'm not a rich person. I work hard. My wife respects me because of that, and we respect each other. So I have a situation where my wife listens to me, but I also listen to my wife. She's highly educated, and she also works hard. But I think a lot of men, I'm gonna be honest with you, don't really. Their personalities might be lacking. They may be a little lazy. Like you gotta put in the work for people to respect you. And I think they think that they don't. I'm not trying to man bash, whatever. But
no, we're not.
This is just talking, and this is based on conversations I've had. And it's almost like once you're born with a dick, then there's things that life owes you. That's what they think. Right? And society kind of shows them but that's not how life works. Like a woman's not going to respect you if you're not respecting her. That's just what it is. And
I kind of like,
does that make sense?
It does. Yeah. It does make sense. And I kind of went down the rabbit hole a few nights ago where, on topic but off topic, belly dancing initially was for pregnant women. Mm-hmm. Yes. Belly dancing was initially to entertain pregnant women because they're pregnant. They should be catered to, right? Mm-hmm. The men got upset. Took it away and wanted it for themselves.
How dare you?
How dare you let this pregnant woman rest and have some happiness?
And when you think about yoga, when they came in and colonized, they took all the physical and left all the emotional and spiritual, right? They said, no, we don't want that. What, you mean happiness is within, and all these things, how to live with truthfulness and all these wonderful, no, we don't want any of that. But you want to do jumping jacks, you want to learn how to do plank, wrong part.
Right, because it's all the strengthening and the physical stuff. So what I'm also feel like I'm learning through this life experience is that a lot of the men that are angry, it's just, no one ever taught them to be happy or what happiness looks like. Are they just envious of something?
Or they couldn't feel.
They can't feel.
They can't.
They can't feel. A lot of feel, and that was through society raising them that they had to be that way.
Men can't cry.
They can't feel.
Period. Can't feel.
Because if they did, then they weren't men. And we talk about this all the time, and we just want men to be able to understand you can feel. It's okay to feel. It's okay to cry. I even had this conversation with my boys when I was a younger mom, and my son, he's now 17. He was like, "Well, it's your fault. I don't cry because you said." Did I wear pink panties? And I was like, you know what? I got to eat that because I did. And I was wrong for that. However, now that I'm older.
Because that's what you were taught.
Because that's what I was taught.
Generational.
Right. That's what I was taught.
And you do what you know.
And you do what you're taught. And we also had a podcast about that where are you living the life you were taught or the life you want to live? So, as you get older, you unlearn a lot of things. And you take all those things if you're willing to do the work. And because I knew in my head, what I want my relationship to look like with my kids, I didn't want them to feel like that. So I didn't, and so we had that conversation. And I know a lot of things are passed down. And so whoever feels like black, white, orange, purple, if you have a penis, you could cry. It's okay. Let them tears flow. You might get some more vagina so you can be a little happier in life. That's how I see it. A lot of them are just lacking vagina because they don't have a personality. So if they're full, if their belly is full, they can't smile. They got to empty out their belly.
And just find, in the part of that, like, feeling yourself think both of you have it, is, you know, do what you need to do to get what you want in life. Nothing's owed to you. No particular person is owed to you. But then also find joy in yourself. I think a lot of men, like we talk about women gossiping and having these
men
groups.
are the biggest gossipers.
Bro, it's like we do everything we do is so another man can give us that head nod. You know what I mean? And it's like, why do you care, bro?
I say this all the time. If you are into men and you want the attention and external validation from a man, that is great. But don't lie to us women when you want a man.
I mean, that's also part of it, I think.
A lot of times, they want each other. And that's okay.
But that's part of
Don't lie to us.
I think that's on us, though. I mean,
Don't lie to us about it.
I know you're joking, but
no, I'm not.
There's a lot of dudes.
No, I'm dead ass.
Yeah.
A lot of them want each other.
Yeah.
And they use us to make it look like they don't want each other. And that, if y'all want each other, baby, go for each other.
I have some sympathy for that.
I don't. Don't drag us through the mud.
Not gaslighting people based on, but I think, especially in the Black community, because I know a couple of friends that came out as they got older. And one of them in particular told me that he knew he was gay at 8 years old. But I remember what it was like growing up in my group of friends.
You can't say
You
that.
can't you can't do that. You know what I mean? So it's, it makes it hard.
Even now, with us having a Caribbean background, they can't say that out loud.
Yeah.
At our age, as adults, it's just not. It's frowned upon in our community still. Should the times change? Absolutely, because it's 2025. Everybody is just out here now. Just accept it. You don't like it? Keep going. Everything isn't for everybody. Cool, but don't yuck my yum.
Yeah, that's what we need to learn.
That's what we as people need to learn. Don't yuck my yum.
Yeah.
If this is for you, there is an abundance of people that have a group for everything. I don't know why people just don't find their people and stick there. You feel me? Just stay there. You find your people and you stay there. So for all the angry men, black, white, or purple, go find other angry men and hang out with them. Stay away from the happy people.
True.
Their lives would be so much easier because they could all be mad with each other.
But social media doesn't. I feel like I keep on piling on reasons. But then you got all this.
We're not going to make excuses as to why people are upset and angry or whatever the case may be. Because there's days that I wake up and honestly, I made it intentional to not be on social media as much as I was because it's overstimulating. Right. There's so much information being thrown at us on a constant as you scroll. My brain is in overload. And I'm
a lot of anxiety.
My anxiety is through the roof. I am so happy I have Tashi. Thank you, Tashi, because she's the social media manager. I don't need to go on. Unless somebody's like, hey, yo, did you see XYZ? I'd be like, nope. And I don't want to see it. Brain hurts from social media and the fact that people like to have all these excuses as to why they just can't be better people.
It's crazy.
As to why they're so angry. Everybody, the people that are angry and don't want to work on their anger really just want to point the fingers at everybody else except for themselves and be like, why am I so angry? I don't know. You ever talk to someone at like 8 in the morning, and not because they're not morning people, but they're just angry?
Yeah, it's too, yeah.
Like some people, they'll be like, I'm just not a morning person. All right, cool, I get that. But them other people just angry to just be angry. Like, you're miserable as hell. You're like a walking corpse. Why?
You just wonder, like, is it that they don't, because in some cases, if you're not self-aware, you don't know how you're showing up in spaces for other people. And so a lot of these people that are angry, once you say, why are you so angry? The first question they're going to say is, no, I'm not.
I'm not angry. I'm not even angry. I'm passionate.
You know, right? And then you realize you're not angry. Okay, like where do you go when you're passionate? It's just interesting because when you're not self-aware of that, you know, this churning that's going on and you're sitting there, you're doing this, there's all kinds of cues to know that something's brewing in you, but they don't realize it.
They don't want to acknowledge it, or they do, and then they don't want to do anything about it. And I think that's worse than not knowing. When you're aware of your nonsense and you're doing nothing to fix it, that's worse than being ignorant. Because yes, ignorance is bliss.
Right.
However, once you know.
Oh yeah. I go through this with my husband and his hearing aids. Because it's like, all the studies say that hearing and lack of it, you can go into your own little world, and it's like a precursor to dementia. And that, so there's all these studies around that ambient, like hearing, the ambulance just went by, or maybe it's a bird, or maybe it's a car. But when you stop hearing that, then you're not aware of what's going on, right? And, you keep telling them, and then you go in the cassette. And so now I go through this thing, and they'll start talking to me, and I kind of do that to them. I don't know what you do when someone doesn't want to do that, it's interesting. When they give you all the facts, this is what you should be doing, and you're not doing it.
You just let them be.
You have to. That's like...
Then you stress yourself.
No, because that's true meditation. When you can, remove yourself, or say, well, someone so she keeps that door open. She keeps the door open, and I can, help her about that door, or I can just go by and shut it.
Yeah, you can go and shut it. And that.
So it's just a matter of how much energy you want to put towards something. And my feeling is, at this point, I'm trying not to put my energy towards stuff like that.
I'm the same way. I refuse to go back and forth with people about anything. So when I see something and I know this person is argumentative, I'm like, let me just go do it and miss the whole hamster wheel, the rigor and roll. Let me just avoid all of that.
Yeah.
And just go do it. I love my peace.
Yeah.
I'm not going with the
all the reasons they can't, and you're gonna have it done by then.
Twice, maybe even 4 times, depending what it was.
How do you know you're angry about it?
Huh?
How are you gonna know you're angry about it if you don't make a big deal out of it?
Because just because I feel something doesn't mean I have to say it. I can be angry about something and express it in a different manner. I can be at the highest level of viscosity and ask you something in a calm way, but still be boiling with anger inside.
I guess the question might be, what's there a difference between reacting and responding?
Yeah. How are you gonna react?
The reacting is like, why aren't you wearing your hearing aids? Right? Or responding is, oh, I see you don't, I see you don't have your hearing aids in. Now, I grew up reacting because it's fire and it's this and it's that and that. But it also that impacts your central nervous system because you're always on fire.
Always going.
And you're so you're not giving that central nervous system an opportunity to break because you're always looking for that fight. Or that
the fight or flight, yeah.
And again, go back to where does it start? It started,
I think y'all just hit something. I feel like that's the whole problem. I feel like people are reacting.
They're reacting instead of responding.
And just based on what you're saying, it sounds to me like responding, the difference between responding and reacting is the time you think about
how you can react.
About what you're going to do.
To the situation.
Yeah,
you take that breath.
Take a breath.
Yeah. And the difference between laughing and crying is when we laugh, we exhale.
What?
I had to do it in my head. I did it in my head like...
Show's over.
No, it's not.
Where's the mic? I want to drop it.
And you know what's crazy? You know what is crazy though? Because there's that saying, sometimes you have to laugh to keep from crying. Now it makes sense. And it's true. Working with children, I always tell them if the kid is crying, give them something to laugh about.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to do both.
Right.
Or give them something to eat. You switch it up. The opposite of laughing is crying because
it's the breath. It's the exhale. It's the exhale. And
So-
and we don't. So just that, knowing that, and through the meditation I've done and having that experiencing the equilibrium in your body, when you feel it and you begin to appreciate it, the next time it leaves you, the first thing you say is, okay, who's in the room? What are they saying? And what am I doing? And how the hell do I get out of here? because you don't want that equilibrium, right? So you have to breathe. But the thing is, the more conscious you become of it, I feel like it becomes truly your agency in life.
It does,
because
you do it so.
Yeah, because what happens is you're not going through life reacting, because you're taking that time to pause and you're responding. Another example is instead of when the phone rings, instead of answering it and jumping on it and answering it, you don't know who's on the other end. You don't know what they're going to ask you. You don't know what they're going to say to you. You don't know what situation they're going to put. But if you let it go to voicemail, you get to hear it and go, we can do that. Or, you get to like process it and then call them back and you respond, opposed to them getting in a situation where you react and then it's out of your control. Do you know what I mean? Like, and we do that a lot. That's self-care. It's like stepping back and saying, do I really want to engage in this? Is this going to make the situation better?
Any better?
Listen, am I going to lose my integrity over this?
The amount of
But that's what I think that's how social media messed us up, because I think part of the reason why we're so disconnected from these things is because there are no consequences. Well, we think there's no consequences because you can just say whatever, you can react to whatever you want online, say the craziest thing online,
and don't
give. Then you're gonna find people that agree with you.
Yeah,
because
they're just as
the algorithm's gonna just have y'all just connect and just say foolishness together. Wow.
See?
There's hope though. I'm telling you.
There is hope.
What's hope?
Because
I do a hope meditation.
Yeah.
Every 7:30, every Friday, I do a hope meditation on Zoom with Four Corners Yoga. And I've been doing it for 2 years, and people come and they go, I don't have any hope, I have any hope. And I'm like, let me tell you something. Hope is everything.
It is.
Because when we don't have hope, they win. And you can't have them take away your hope. Because that is everything. And that comes out of the Black experience. That is part of Black America.
That is why Black people are so strong. We got nothing but hope, baby.
Okay, this might be very, what's the word? We generalize too much. But in my lived experience, I can tell you that white people are very transactional. In love and in most things. Because my experience in the Black community is love comes from justice.
Can you expand on that?
Can I expand on that? Okay, now my kid can't. Well, you might listen. This is the one that when I realized it, I was talking to my girlfriends and I was talking about my son being out of a job and he doesn't have a job, he does this, his dad, he's not good marriage material, he's not this, he's not that.
Not yet.
Not yet, but I'm just like, I'm going through my white, the whole capitalist thing, right? Going through all these things. And they agree with me. Then I get together with my friends from Four Corners Yoga, mostly women of color. And the first thing they say to me, this is the best time to find someone because they're going to know that he loves them. I mean, I just sat back and thought to myself, isn't that interesting? That was the first one. And it's this idea where, everything has to go a certain way. Just sit with it. It's okay this way, right? Why? Because they don't have the choices that I have. I can go and I can do this, this, and this, but you don't have those choices. So you gotta sit with it. I'm gonna sit with shit. That's the difference. That's the difference. And I see it because I'm much more aware of it now. I think, do these people keep a database? Like I did this and you did that. I do things because I want to. I don't do them because I expect you to give me anything in return. And I just don't think that's the way this country, the world is. We need to be more like that.
I agree. I was having that conversation with someone recently, and I was saying, I think because I'm that way is why I have so many trials and tribulations in life, because a lot of people are not genuine. A lot of people are transactional. And because, I'm just like, if I can do something for you to help you along the way, I'm going to do it. It doesn't matter what title we have. As long as we don't have any bad blood, I'm going to do it for you if I can, because I want to. And I was telling the person how there's so many people. You good?
All right, go ahead.
How I was telling this person how there's so many people that wake up every day hating people that I could wake up every day and love people for no reason. The same way people wake up every day hating people for no reason, I can wake up every day and love people for no reason. And they told me to put it on a shirt. I was like, I ain't gonna do all that. But I say all that to say, I do agree that people should just be a little bit more genuine. If everybody just didn't walk around so guarded thinking that somebody wanted them for something, it would be a better place.
Yeah.
It would be a much better place. If you just was like, oh, this person just wants to help me just because, and they went along their day,
Yeah.
it would be cool. Like, oh, shoot, they just really wanted to help. That's what's up. Cool. And everybody just goes about their life. Just go about your life.
It'd be better if everybody like paid it forward.
Yeah, it was a good Samaritan.
Yeah.
If everybody was a good Samaritan, we'd be all right.
Yeah.
That's one of my thought processes on world peace. You want to know my other one?
Yeah.
If everybody was high.
Really?
If everybody was high, we'd have world peace because the people who smoke, they'll be high. And the people who don't, they'll be paranoid. And the people who are high laughing at them. So everybody, it'll be world peace. No one will be fighting.
Well, I used to think that about, when you think of all the drinking, around sports and a lot of domestic violence. And my feeling was if they were all smoking, they'd be too stoned to beat people.
Nobody would be fighting.
Yeah, so I do agree with that.
If everybody was high,
yeah, there would be no fighting.
everybody would be genuine because
Yeah.
they wouldn't have the capacity to think of something negative. They'd be like, hey, you need something. Everybody, think about the 60s when everyone was hippies.
Yeah,
It'd
yeah.
be like hippies
Well,
walking around all
So what
day.
was it? If you can't live,
Yeah, but those hippies turned into
Yeah,
pretty
Yeah,
pretty
that
corporate bastards.
right.
Yeah, they did.
That part of it.
That's really.
Steve Jobs.
Yeah, like the big thing was if you can't be with the one if you can't love the one if you can't
Be with the one you love the one you're with.
Yeah, that was do.
Yeah.
So that was
A settling song, but yeah, we get it. So to bring it full circle forward, the last topic was, I know we said earlier that no one's coming to save us, but there is somebody here to save us. Four Corners.
No kidding.
So all you angry people, if you need a place to take a breath and laugh and not be so upset with the world and everything that's happening, come on down to Four Corners Yoga Studio. We are, where are we located? 26 Norfolk Street.
And Fields Corner.
And yeah, oh yes, and the Fields Corner location. I keep forgetting that one because it's new.
And we're virtual.
And we're virtual. There are some teachers that are online. So if you go to the website, you can pick, choose, and refuse which teacher's class you'd like to take. I teach on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. It's a vinyasa flow. It's usually R&B, whatever mood I feel like, whatever mood I wake up in that morning. That's what we listen to.
That sounds great.
Yeah, and pretty much why I started yoga. I used to dance when I was younger. And one of my friends, she took me to a yoga class with her, and I was like, oh, this is pretty easy. And then fast forward, I became an adult and the flexibility stayed. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna bring this into my community because as an Afro-Latina, it's not practiced. And a lot of people have this stigma or idea that yoga is for skinny white women, and I'm not skinny nor am I white. I got a lot going on. So if I could do the things I do, I'm pretty sure you can too. So come on down to Four Corners Yoga Studio and take a breath.
Yeah, and take a breath. And I think there's many forms of yoga that you can practice just sitting in a chair and breathing.
This chair yoga
Is a practice. This idea of when I think about yoga, it's really healing from the inside out. We store a lot of our emotions in our body, and so our kidneys hold fear. Our lungs hold grief. Our heart holds joy. So if we have time just to sit and get out of our heads and into our hearts, just by breathing, it shifts who we are. So in Four Corners Yoga, we say something like, what does social justice have to do with yoga? And we say, it has everything to do with yoga because we believe the world should be centered in justice. And when you think that, just sit with that and just breathe this idea that in community, as much as we're all struggling, we also have the ability to heal if we want to. And it starts with ourselves. I can't heal you, but I can heal myself. And when we begin to love ourselves, we move against domination and oppression. When we begin to love ourselves, we move towards liberation, liberating ourselves and liberating others. And that's a quote from Bell Hooks. And I think that's extraordinarily true. Maybe the reason why, the true reason why men and some women are angry is because anger is something that's inside turned out. And so what we need to do is we need to look within that you might have done. You got to forgive yourself. You got to ask yourself, who hurt you? And can you forgive them? And when you can begin to forgive, you have a choice of either breaking or breaking open. And that's, and we can all go back in our lives and think of things that could break us. But, I'm not sure that that's gonna be good for you or anybody that you love that's around you.
Right. And another thing to add to that, were you done with that thought?
I am.
And if you can't forgive the person, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for just being in the situation.
Yeah.
Because you can't be mad or angry at yourself for being genuine and someone abusing that genuineness.
Yeah.
So don't be upset with yourself. Forgive yourself for maybe not having better discernment or possibly having too much hope.
Yeah.
Because you probably saw the red flags or, whatever it was that said to you. The little voice in your head probably told you, don't do this, whatever. Forgive yourself for not listening to that little voice. You're human, we run off of emotions, even though people don't want to admit it. We all run off emotions.
And meditation helps you with that.
We all operate off emotions. Men too. As much as y'all want to say y'all don't got no feelings, you're running off emotions. Anger is a feeling, is an emotion. Anxiety is a feeling. All these things are feelings and emotions. Y'all all have them, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. So,
That's great.
just remember, laughter is the opposite of crying.
Right.
With a breath.
Right. Exhale.
Come down to Four Corners Yoga Studio, and we can help you with all the breathing and exhaling that you need to do.
Peace.
Do you want to give a shout out to anyone before we go?
I can't think of anybody other than the Four Corners Yoga teachers.
Hubby.
Oh, my husband, yes.
There you go.
Put your hearing aids on.
He's not going to hear you. He's not going to hear you. He's not going to hear anything you say. He doesn't have it on. He doesn't have the hearing aid on. All right. Well, definitely shout out to the Four Corners Yoga Studio, all the teachers, everyone that's there, all the students that come to us. Thank you for the support. If you're not a student or a member of faculty, you want to join and teach yoga, come on down. We got you. And the students, log in, sign in, join a class. We got y'all too. I think that's all I got.
That's it. Yeah, that's
Peace,
all
love,
I got.
and light. Let's give them some love. Other hand. Sorry. There it is. The love.